I have no work, no money, no food. I have to sell my daughter, he says. I have no other choice.
How in the world could this be life in 2023? How?
Hello, how are you?
I am good. I am good. Would you like to introduce yourself to the fellas?
My name is Anais. I go by Anna. I'm an immigrant here. I love this country, and I've been talking to Van for a long time. I've been watching you since before, in the very early music reactions.
No shower.
You got to put a blowout in it, boy. You got to put a blowout in it. If you're going back there, you got to make that thing Jackson 5.
Oh, see, hold on, Joey. While you was, and she's Armenian, and she's not white. I accused her of white privilege, and she let me know.
I mean, technically, I am white. I'm literally from the Caucasus Mountains because Armenia is right there.
Yeah,
now you threw me all off. Now,
exactly.
But I mean, if I go to the South, they won't consider me white. I'm joking. It's a joke.
Oh, Lord.
Southerners are going to be in your comment section.
No, but what happened is, I don't know what she was just letting us know about how things are going in with Afghan parents selling their daughters. That's how bad it is. And we were just comparing it to, people always throwing up white privilege this and white privilege that, or being racist and acting like they're, they don't like their country. But when we talk about places that will sell their kids, just because the government themselves cut off your funding, now you got to figure out a way to get some money. Like, it's crazy.
I was about to say, but there are countries that's what they do overall.
Well, I always got to go back to communist countries like Cuba, where my family.
Yeah, definitely was communist, y'all.
Oh, they did that in Cuba too?
Well, not the selling. I'm just saying that when Americans talk about how bad it is here, they need to go to these countries where it's really.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
World lead now in a distressing story out of Afghanistan showing the harsh reality of the humanitarian crisis engulfing the country, especially post-Taliban rule. Desperate families so impoverished, they tell CNN they have no choice but to sell their young daughters into some twisted form of marriage. In this exclusive report, CNN witnesses the tragic fate facing these helpless little girls in this culture where girls and women are too often treated horrifically. The parents gave us full access and permission to talk to the children and show their faces because they say they cannot change the practice themselves. CNN's Anna Corin reports.
And the thing that, before this move forward, I just want the thing that really broke my heart when I looked this over before, because I looked it over because Anna shared it with me and she was like, you know what, I like to discuss this with you. And I took it seriously. I checked it out. And y'all gonna see the little kids, man, just looking like little kids, like just having fun with each other, enjoying each other's time, not really knowing what's ahead of them. They play with makeup and whatnot, but they don't understand what's going on. Like, it's sad. Are there any rules? Like, once they sell their daughter to these adults, does the adults have to wait until a certain point before they can do things with these kids?
You don't wait to drive your car when you buy it.
Oh my God.
You already know that one. You already know that sad truth.
It's a damn kid, man.
In this arid, desolate landscape, not a scrap of vegetation in sight, lies a makeshift camp for some of Afghanistan's internally displaced. Among its residents, 9-year-old Parwana. Her bright pink dress squeals of laughter and childhood games, a ruse to the horrors unfolding in this unhospitable environment. Parwana's family moved to this camp in Baghdis province 4 years ago after her father lost his job. Humanitarian aid and menial work, earning $3 a day, providing the basic staples to survive. But since the Taliban takeover 2.5 months ago, any money or assistance has dried up. And with 8 mouths to feed, Parwana's father is now doing the unthinkable. I have no work, no money, no food. I have to sell my daughter, he says. I have no other choice. Parwana, who dreams of going to school and becoming a teacher, applies makeup. A favourite pastime for little girls, But Pawana knows she is preparing for what awaits her. My father has sold me because we don't have bread, rice and flour. He has sold me to an old man.
Yo, come on, man.
You know,
Go ahead, Jennifer.
no, I was just saying that I was in Afghanistan for a year from 2013 to 2014 on a deployment, and we took supplies to the schools, the elementary school, and I did a few missions, and it was you know, good to see their faces, taking them supplies and stuff like that, and it's just crazy to see how they've kind of regressed, like everything has kind of gone backwards. So
Man, I mean, because they said that once the Taliban that came back, they came back with a vengeance. They said
They were going after the Afghanis that were helping U.S. soldiers worse than they were American citizens that were stranded there.
And they also were saying even if you didn't help the Americans, but you didn't join the Taliban to help, you still getting
That entire pullout was a disaster, complete disaster.
The white-bearded man who claims he's 55 years old comes to collect her.
Come on, bruh.
He's bought Pawana for 200,000 Afghanis, just over $2,000 US. Covered up, Pawana whimpers as her mother holds her. This is your bride, please take care of her, says Pawana's father. Of course I will take care of her, replies the man. His large hands grab her small frame. Pawana tries to pull away. As he carries her only bag of belongings, she again resists, digging her heels into the dirt. But it's futile. The fate of this small, helpless child has been sealed. Child marriage is nothing new in poor rural parts of Afghanistan. But human rights activists are reporting an increase in cases because of the economic and humanitarian crisis engulfing the country.
These are devastating decisions that no parent should ever have to make, and it really speaks to what an extraordinary breakdown is happening in Afghanistan right now.
For months, the UN has been warning of a catastrophe as Afghanistan, a war-ravaged, aid-dependent country, descends into a brutal winter. Billions of dollars in central...
Yo, how in the world could this be life in 2023? How? How is this even possible? That I realize how naive I sound. I get it, because that's why I've buried my head in the sand for so many years, so I now have to pay attention to this. But come on, man, this is heartbreaking. I'm sorry. I'm going to continue to check it out, but this is heartbreaking right here.
They say ignorance is bliss, and people, even if they know, they would rather act like, oh, it's not really happening,
it's not
because
existing
it's in their face, and oh, that's not going to affect my day-to-day. So it's sad.
I was going to say that a lot of people, if it doesn't affect them directly, they really don't care. They may say, oh, that sounds really bad and that's horrible, and that's about it.
Right.
About their life. So
think about the choice that father has to make. Do I let my child freaking starve to death, or do I sell her off to this old guy and hope for the best? Because he's not just selling her just for money to eat. He's like, I can't feed her. Like she's going to starve. And me traveling places to look for work with her with me is, oh my God, dude.
You're right. Like, I get it. Like, what else? I'd rather sell myself. Like, I would be out there with my legs showing. I shave them. You know what I mean? I probably do some squats so my booty could be a little plump or something.
You only go squat with that one leg. Boy, your left leg gonna be huge.
It broke my heart seeing her just pull away from him.
Yes.
And that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And
I can't imagine that.
Here goes something that's going to take your brain even deeper into the darkness. He's going to have to train her to do what he says do.
Every single thing.
He's going to have to buck. You know how like they buck a horse. He's going because, oh my God.
Thanks
I
a
mean,
lot,
I don't
Anna.
see it any different than the predators here anywhere. Like there's predators everywhere. I don't see it any different. So
yeah, there's predators everywhere. There aren't words to describe that.
But could you imagine being let down by your country, first of all, where that's something that you have to do in order to bring food to your family? Like there's no protection. Like you can't fight up against what's they call? What's the name of that gang again?
Taliban.
The Taliban, your damn self, because then your kid's gonna be dealing with a dead
Right.
father.
Right. You can't hide in those cities or nothing because it's open land. So it's not like you can really run from the Taliban and hide. It's like,
is this why
And
people
now-
joined the Taliban so they not have to deal with this?
It's kind of like gangs.
I probably
it's kind of
would, bro.
mentality.
Like I probably would.
I would.
Do you join or do you lose your life and your family? And
I would have been part of the gang. I'm sorry, man. Listen, I'm not selling my baby girl. Well, you know what? It's very difficult to say that on outside looking in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
I say that all bold sitting in the United States, or filing my
Right,
fingernails, eating a lollipop.
Talking about what you would, because they out there starving in the heat.
Right.
honestly, I think the only way that things can change, obviously there's going to be casualties, right? But you can't, I don't know. I think it's like anything else, there's going to have to be people that resist, right? So, the whole saying, well, I would join. I mean, I personally, let's say if I was a man or whatever, I don't think I would join. But again, that's me saying what I would do. But I think that there's something to say about people that resist and fight,
Right.
And I'm sure there are people that are out there fighting.
Oh, I believe it. But when you see your boy get his arm and his leg cut off, and then they tell you to step up next.
No,
not just that. Now the Taliban has a whole, how many $billion
dollars
worth of weapons did they just get a year and a half ago?
Yep. United States left everything.
Leave
it all here, boys. Leave it all here.
Because we have a
boys,
new war that we
plane.
got to jump into.
I mean, look, look at them decisions you got to make. And these are real life, like, it's not like, man, well, I'll give y'all an answer tomorrow.
Nah.
It's
How
just
did he
like
find a dude? Like, did he go out? Did he put an ad out that, anybody looking for a daughter? How did he
In these
find
villages,
everyone
knows everyone.
It's just like the mules from Mexico. You know that they got the mules that's the connect. They got, you got the plug dude that's.
And I'm sure it's so normalized that,
right.
Everybody knows who's looking for a child bride or whatever.